In this morning's Health Watch, food fake-outs. Still feeling a little pudgy, even if you think you're eating right? Here to explain why that could be is Dr. Pamela Peeke. She's WebMD's lifestyle expert. Great to have you with us.
Fantastic.
Bottom line is we think we're doing something right, and in fact, a lot of times we're making it worse on ourselves in terms of the foods that we pick.
Absolutely. Buyer beware, and we've got some great examples right in front of us.
So one of the things I found more and more people seem to talk about and use as a go-to, even as a meal replacement, they say, you know, I'm really hungry, but I'm dieting, so I'm going to have a smoothie. It's much healthier.
Well, it sounds healthy, but guess what? The grand majority of smoothies, if you don't know what you're getting, have more calories than a cheeseburger with a side of fries.
Great.
They have fat in them because it's full-fatted milk they oftentimes use. At the same time, they throw in tons and tons of fruit concentrate, not fruit.
And it's a ton of sugar. And even if they use yogurt sometimes, it could be a sweetened yogurt.
Absolutely.
So what do I need to look for in a smoothie to make sure it's not a fake out?
Okay, first of all, how about low-fat or plain yogurt to use? How about some protein powder? That would be fantastic. And what's wrong with fresh fruit? I kind of like that one, too.
Even and frozen fruit is fine, as long as it's whole fruit.
Thawed out. You know, during the wintertime, you get those blueberries and those high levels of antioxidants. This is fantastic. And then if you're going to have it made by someone else, open your mouth and ask, what are you putting in my smoothie?
Like you said, buyer beware. You got to know what's in it. And when it comes to things like energy bars, this is a real culprit for people.
Well, people think, well, energy bar. Number one, you're not an Olympian. You're sitting there at your desk, okay? So there's a little news flash. Number two, the grand majority of these are expensive candy bars. They have more calories than candy bars themselves.
Wow.
And so
also high in sugar, a lot of them.
Well, you can also get 500 calories out of one of these. And if you want to walk it off, that's 5 miles for an average person. Forget it. Who needs that? If you're going to get an energy bar, 200 calories is the absolute max. 5 grams of fiber, and please make sure there's protein in there too.
Okay, so things to look for there. Yogurt.
Oh,
yogurt can be really confusing to a lot of people. They say, I'm getting yogurt, it's good for me.
I know, and it sounds so good except for all the fruit stuff they put in there.
And the stuff being the operative word here.
Yeah, I know, I'm not going to go there. And then, of course, what you're getting there are a huge number of refined sugar calories. What's the better way to go? What's wrong with plain yogurt? Add some fresh fruit, or maybe, again, that thawed frozen fruit. Put a little brown flaxseed in there and some chopped walnuts, and we're home, and we love that.
I like it. And you want to make sure it's either non-fat or low-fat to start with, and then avoid that fruit on the bottom, basically, is what you're saying, full of sugar.
You just want to watch out for that sugar.
At the salad bar, okay, I think most people know when they're dieting, you don't want to, perhaps as Harry Smith has been talking about doing this morning, go for 3 ladles of the blue cheese dressing or the ranch. But some of these other things here, I didn't realize, do we have to be worried about chickpeas?
Well, first of all, let's look at this. If you look at something like chickpeas, what you have is you have a food that's been in a can with lots of salt. So if you want to bloat out and end up in another county with bloat, then that's the way to go.
Concerned.
Rinse them. If you ever need to use this, rinse them at home and then you get all that salt off. Same with the artichoke hearts and the same thing with the olives. If you look at the salad dressing, bet you didn't know that a quarter cup of that has 240 calories and over, no, you haven't heard the best yet, 24 grams of fat.
Wow.
Yeah, man. So that sort of canceled out the 900 hours you just put in the gym.
So much for that.
Who needs that?
Okay. So those are things to look out for. Look out for the sodium and then also the fat. And before we let you go, low-fat granola, low-fat in general can really be a misnomer. So what do I need to look for on a package? It may say low fat, but what am I really looking for?
Okay, a news flash for all Americans. Low fat does not mean low calorie, all right, or low sugar. So number one, look at the serving size. This is not a huge, this is not a serving, a small amount of granola, number one. Number two,
this
make
is
sure
probably
it's
3
not
servings.
Sweetened. Maybe like 33 servings.
Okay.
It's very dense in calories. You have to be very careful about serving size. When it comes to things like the muffins and the rest of them, they say, oh, it's low fat muffin. If it's low fat, that means it's high sugar and vice versa. Be very careful.
And size, too, when it comes to this is an ideal size muffin?
That's an ideal size, except if it's a low-fat one, you know what they'll say? Read the label. They'll say, oh, yes, it's only 100 calories per serving, and there are 2 servings, so cut it in half.
So bottom line, you still have to read the label and understand what you're getting. Great to have you with us, Dr. Pamela Peeke. Thanks.